Oh my God.
Yeah.
No.
Isn't that amazing?
It's the coolest shit I've ever seen.
As long as they've been around, motorcycles have been a vehicle for self-expression. It's exactly why we wrench on bikes, chop them up, and make them our own. But there's more to it than that. It's the journeys and experiences that only motorcycles can provide. We're not just riding, we're writing our life stories, one unforgettable ride at a time. It's a life worth living and stories worth sharing. I had to fly out here to Nashville to meet up with Brittney Olsen, and Brittney built a bike for Nikki Lane, a famous country singer. So we're out here to present the bike to Nikki, and I'm really excited to see Nikki's reaction.
Nikki, how's it going?
What's going on?
You would.
So good to see you. This is Roland. Sam's Roland. This is Nikki
Hi,
Lane.
Roland. Nice to meet you.
What are you doing?
You guys both look so cute.
I know, and I was like, let me see this. You didn't just make a motorcycle. Look at this. How are you doing?
You're doing great.
Welcome to my house.
This is
Welcome to Nashville, Tennessee.
Beautiful house.
It's pretty great, right?
I think something that's really cool about this collaboration between Nikki and Brittney is that both of them are just fiends for vintage, antiques, 20s stuff. I don't think that you could have picked a better person for Brittney to build a bike for than Nikki Lane.
This is my house. It's 5 years in here, and some of this stuff was here long before with me traveling around, but this is my custom everything. So
I love this. This is fantastic.
I bet everything here has a story attached to it.
these are like my souvenirs. I say my little tattoos are my souvenirs. They push my little stoner brain to a memory, you know, where I can all of a sudden attach to the place I was or the way I acquired an item. And this is a mandolinetto, which is like pre-mandolin, but it looks kind of like a ukulele. But I Googled it and bought it right away when I saw it because it's from 1904, and I think
Yes, and the inlay is beautiful.
it looks like the first Gibson has a butterfly inlay similar.
Yes.
So I just wanted that as art, you know, like for me. And so I tour full time, and like we have van problems a lot, but we have van problems more often than we do because that's what I blame a good antique mall. You know, I'm like, oh yeah, because we don't need a long sound check, but I do need an hour and a half in a big antique mall. I survived 10 years of playing music before we were really profitable by selling vintage, you know, and sharing those stories, finding things in a bin outside of a flea market on the way across the country. And then it just became a little bit of an addiction for me. And I now know that it's a pretty healthy addiction in terms of how they could go. My dad was a motocross rider. My mom, she said she was an early pit tootsie. Hurricane Hannah, she used to change his tearaways on the dirt bike trails. And Evel Knievel and I have the same birthday. So I just always had this little wild tick that like I wanted to get into things. Strangely though, once I moved to California, I didn't touch a motorcycle from like 19 to 26. But once I returned to Tennessee and kind of met a musical community that was riding, I realized that I'm not good at meditating, but that's as close as I'm gonna get. It takes me to another place mentally. It allows me to free up my mind, look around in a different way, and getting away from this busy life that you can tell we have going on here. For me, it was always about digging to find the more alternative brands and learning about things like the Indian Scout. Frankly, I don't and have never even ridden a new bike until today. But from a brand perspective, for a 100-year-old brand, to see them like continue to find a way to revolutionize, but then to do experimental projects like this, where people who are obsessed with the past can still find a way to participate in this like futuristic culture, it's really exciting. So is my bike coming?
Yes, so
Okay.
you've got to see this. You are going to love it.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
Scout, again, offering a really good platform to be able to tweak and blend and bring different styles to the bike. Knowing what Brittney builds and races and what Matt works on as well, I gotta expect we're gonna see a really cool vintage build out of this thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No.
Isn't that amazing?
This is so cool. It's the coolest shit I've ever seen. I'm like in shock. This is insane. I did not know how you were gonna make this look old. Like us.
Everything from the front end of the handlebars, seat, fender, everything has been
there
played
you
on
go.
and touched with. Aww.
I'm sorry, Brittney, I'm in shock a little bit because I just wasn't.
Do you want to know the cool thing? This has a GPS in it. You can charge your phone, has a USB port. When we were like going to customize the tank, we weren't sure if we were going to be able to keep like the GPS in this top unit. But because we were able to blend
it around
this whole center right here, all of that is original Indian Scout. And then we blended these like classic teardrop Indian like chieftain tanks onto the Scout so we could keep all of this for you. Yes.
Okay, what happened here? You got this painted?
Yeah. So, okay, this paint job specifically too is one of my favorites. It's from the 30s and it has, you know, the nice tidal wave, the Indian. To be able to do that on a 2025 bike is just so cool.
Do you want to fire it up for her?
I'd love to fire it up for you. Let's go ahead and fire this thing up. What do you think? You love it?
I love it!
Woo!
Obviously, if you know about vintage biking culture, you know about Brittney Olsen. I had a feeling it was gonna be reminiscent of her bike. I had no idea that once you made those modifications, all of a sudden it looks like an old bike. The paint job, I didn't realize it was gonna have the original Indian logo, like real fat on the side of the tank, and then that lace leafing, you know, like, so just in general, the paint job, it looks old but new, just looks sharp.
Nikki's Scout is so on point with what Cecilia Adams' bike was because her bike was fully custom. Nikki's bike is fully custom from the front to the back. There wasn't anything we didn't touch. It is 100% representative of what the entire movement, not only Cecilia Adams, but all of the women sports scout riders in the 50s. The girder front end on this is literally all custom, hand-built just for this Scout for Nikki. It's not like a traditional sports Scout front end with just one spring in the middle. We blended in chief parts with it. We have 2 springs and a shock, and it also really helps with just the bounce. I mean, that's the feel, that's the vibe, that's like the experience I wanted to achieve with this.
I like the way that they're utilizing the rear fender, turned into a rigid, and so it's like strutted, which made it super low. It's a good blend of vintage and modern. And that's hard to do, it's hard to do right, and I think that Brittney's done a good job of putting those pieces together to build a really cohesive vintage style modern custom.
When I got on that bike, and hate to say it, but right away our vintage, the coolest looking one, like, it's got a little flutter. I know it took a lot of work, and I'm really excited because I'm gonna put a lot of miles on it.
Seeing Nikki on the bike, seeing how good she looks on the bike and how it fits like her personal style as well, it's a huge honor for me.
I want young women to see that, like, a girl that like doesn't know that much about bikes is into it and wants to keep getting better, and it's like a cool space for us to be, and that they can hang out around girls like us. And I'm glad there were women like Brittney to make room for women like me.
To have the opportunity to see this entire thing through and to get it done and to show everybody what can be done with Scouts, it's mind-blowing. If there's any women out there that want to customize their bike and have just questions, I hope they reach out. If you want to do it, you can do it. Women can do this.